So did today help me understand the hype around Glock? Welcome back to Silent Pew. Today we're out at the range and we are taking a look at my first ever Glock. Yeah, that's right, you've seen the title. This is my first ever Glock that I've ever owned. As a matter of fact, I only think I've shot about one magazine, if that, through a Glock Gen 4.
Shout out J.O.
And not only is this my first ever Glock, this just happens to be the brand new Glock 45 Gen 6. So check it out. Now let's go ahead and get this unboxed together. Now, of course, I did open this up when I first got it to make sure everything was in order. But beside that, I haven't really touched anything just to make sure I can give you guys my true first impressions. Now, of course, we've got the standard Glock hard case. And then as we get this opened up here, you can see we've got the firearm itself. We do get 3 Glock magazines that are going to hold 17 rounds. So I'll go ahead and put those to the side. We do have the loader here that's going to help us load those magazines up. We've got 1 magazine in the firearm. We got 2 additional back straps that we can throw on. We've got our lock. And then it looks like we have 3 plates that come with it. And these are going to help us put on an optic for the optic ready system as part of this Glock. So it looks like these are going to be plastic. These are not metal. So we'll have to see what that's all about. But it looks like these are going to give you the option to mount many different footprints, which is great out of the box. And as you can see here, we've got the Glock 45 Gen 6. And this thing feels pretty good. I like the way that grip is feeling right off the bat. But let's go ahead and finish getting this unboxed, loaded up, so we can take our first look at it. Before we get to shooting, we've got to figure out what all this Glock hype is about. You see Glocks for duty use, concealed carry, home defense, competition, I mean the whole 9. But at the end of the day, my understanding is these things come down to reliability. Now, we're not going to be comparing this to the previous gen because like I said, I've never owned any of the generations. So we're really going to see what Glock's all about. To kick us off, let's go ahead and start with the feel and ergonomics. Now, the very first thing that I noticed when picking up this pistol is going to be the grip texture. So the stippling on here is going to be their RTF6. And as you can see, it's pretty aggressive. You've got that coming off the entire magwell, the palm swell, and up here on both sides of the pistol. And this texture here actually feels really good. And the harder you grip the pistol, the more you feel it. So we'll see how that goes as the day goes on. The next thing is going to be this border around the slide stop. And this is supposed to help when manipulating the firearm to make sure that you don't accidentally press that up and stop the slide from locking back on last round. Well, we'll see how that goes because I tend to do that quite often. So we'll see how that works out for us. I noticed from taking a look at some of the previous gens that they updated this undercut under the trigger guard. So that's going to help you with a high purchase in combination with the beaver tail, which I actually really like. As you can see, that comes out pretty far, and this is going to help you get a really high grip on the firearm itself to just help with controllability. Let's quickly talk about the magazine release. It seems like it's in a good position in terms of being able to reach it with my thumb. However, it seems a little tough to actuate. Now, I haven't quite shot this yet, so we'll have to take a look at it during shooting. But initial impressions is when I go to release the magazine, what's happening is I'm pressing with my thumb on this side, but with my grip, I'm actually pressing out towards my hand. And let's see if you can see that a little bit better from this angle. And so what's happening is I feel like I'm stopping it with the other side of my hand while I'm pushing it with my thumb. So we'll see how that goes again when we start shooting. And of course, like I stated earlier, we have that optics ready system. Today, we are going to shoot this bare bones, so we won't have an optic on it, but we'll definitely be checking that out in the future. And then finally, we have our trigger. So our trigger here is going to be a nice flat face trigger. And let's go ahead and see how this feels. Okay, so first impressions, this thing has a lot of squish, a lot of take up there. I mean, that travels pretty far. Let me see if I can give you a better angle here. Okay, so a lot of take up before the wall there. And then you barely feel the wall. Let's check the reset. Decent reset. Yeah, so in terms of the trigger, I would say not my favorite trigger by far. It's got a lot of squish, a lot of take up, and you can barely feel the wall. It almost goes into the squish and then just fires almost. So again, we'll see how that feels when we actually start shooting. And the last thing that I wanted to point out from a QC perspective is that the front sight appears to be messed up from the factory. Now, whether it was dropped or it was installed incorrectly, hopefully you guys can see that. I'm actually going to point it downrange so you can see, but that is messed up. Not a big deal. However, since I am using iron sights right now, when I'm aiming down sight, I can see a large blob on the top right-hand side of that sight, and it can be a little bit distracting. First shots of the brand new Glock 45 Gen 6. Let's see how it feels. All right, first impressions, grip feels fantastic. I actually do really like this grip. And it shoots like a striker fired pistol. So far, so good. So first things first, we didn't get slide lock back, so that border did not help me. And I can feel that I actually rest my thumb on that slide stop. So that's a me thing, but the border definitely didn't help me out. I actually don't see how that would help me in particular. I'll try a little bit of a different grip because I do have my left thumb up on the slide, so I can actually use this textured portion up here and see how that feels. In terms of the magazine release, same thing as I explained earlier. Without breaking my grip, I'm really just pushing into the other side of my hand. So that does make it hard to release the magazine. Let me know if you own a Glock, if you run into that same thing or not, or if that's just me. All right, I would say we're sitting at about 17, 20 yards maybe. We could pace it out here in a second. But let's go ahead and take a look at the accuracy from a standing position. And let's just see how this goes. We got a cardboard target out there. And we are all in the A zone. We're not touching or anything like that, but we are in the A zone. So far so good. Let's go ahead and tape that up, and then let's take a look at it actually real quick first. Then we'll tape it up, and then we'll try to get ourselves in a more stable position and check that accuracy a little bit more. So first accuracy test here from a standing position at about 17 to 20 yards. All A zone. Looks like we've got a line break there, but right where we want it to be. All right, so from a more stable position, looks like the accuracy is pretty good. Not the perfect setup right there, but let's go ahead and take a look at it so I can show you. So from that position, again, not a very stable position in terms of any rest or anything like that, but we did get those a lot closer. So pretty good, not bad, not great. Some of that's gonna come down to me, but there you have it. All right, we're gonna get a couple bill drills in from the low ready since we don't have a holster yet. And let's see how it goes. All right, we've got all A zone right there. We got 1C. All right, we've got 5A zone, 1C, 2.18 seconds. Let's go ahead and run another one. All right, before we close this out, I've got to test one more thing because it is bugging me. I've got 3 magazines with 1 round, and we are gonna test the slide lock. I know it's my grip, but I mean, we've got this huge claim on the border on the frame that's helping with that slide lock, and it's not helping, so. All right, so that was the first time all day that we got a slide lock back, and what I'm seeing is that, I mean, it's like a natural rest point, honestly. So if I don't put my hand right there, I have to like take my thumb off of the firearm, and I have 1 less point of contact. Let's go ahead and try another one. And again, yeah, my thumb just rests right there. Anywhere else, I'd have to, I mean, it looks like your thumb has a nice divot right there that it should go in, but then it breaks the rest of my grip. Let's see if I get my palm up a little bit higher. Let's try another one. Palms up higher. Same thing. So definitely not a big fan of that. I know that's a problem that I have in general when shooting. However, it's not that big of a problem with most of my guns. So anyways. Hey, slide lock. Didn't even have to pay attention. First time, all day. Beautiful. So did today help me understand the hype around Glock? Not really. To be honest, it didn't. Now there were some great things. I loved the grip texture. It felt fantastic in hand. I love the beaver tail and the high undercut for the trigger guard, which helped me get a high purchase on the gun itself. But the trigger was mid at best. The flat face is good, but it was squishy and there was no clear wall in my opinion. I also had problems with the slide lock all day. I know that's mostly me, but there's a big claim with the extra border on the frame to help with that, and it really just didn't do it for me. Overall, this just seemed like another striker fired pistol to me, especially with all the innovation come out. Now I know a lot of people love Glock, so if that's you, drop it down in the comments and let me know exactly why you love Glock. For me, it was okay. I didn't hate it, but I didn't love it. If you do love your Glocks though, these come out in a couple days, so make sure to get out there and test them out for yourself. If you're enjoying this content and like this video, smash that like button, share this with a friend or two, subscribe, and turn on notifications. And as always, stay safe and shoot straight.